The Galactic Council had warned Mira Solon about the Korthax colony on Theta 9. They were apex predators. They said four-limbed carnivores with retractable claws, enhanced reflexes, and a hunting instinct so refined that their species had never known what it meant to be prey. Their young were born with teeth sharp enough to pierce durasteel, and their society operated on a strict hierarchy of strength and dominance. Mira had nodded politely during the briefing, then promptly ignored every warning. She was a xenobiologist, after all, and the Korthax were her latest assignment. Besides, she'd grown up on Earth's Australian continent, where nearly everything was venomous, aggressive, or both. A species of space cats with an attitude problem didn't particularly intimidate her. What she hadn't anticipated was the theft. Mira discovered the crime on her third week at the research outpost. She'd been documenting Korthax social behaviors from a respectful distance when she returned to her quarters to find her favorite scarf, missing a hand-knitted monstrosity her grandmother had made, striped in garish yellows and purples, stretched out from years of use until it was nearly 3 meters long. She'd searched everywhere. Under the bed, behind the storage units, in the recycler, hoping she hadn't accidentally disposed of it. Nothing. Then she heard the shrieking. Not distress calls, she'd learned to recognize those. These were sounds of pure, unfiltered joy, echoing from somewhere beyond the compound's perimeter. Mira grabbed her field scanner and followed the noise into the crimson forests of Theta 9, where the towering sentinel trees cast everything in shades of blood and shadow. What she found made her stop dead in her tracks. 3 Korthax cubs, each no larger than a terrier but infinitely more dangerous looking, had tied her scarf between 2 low-hanging branches, and suspended in the middle, swaying back and forth with evident delight, was a 4th cub. His silvery fur caught the filtered sunlight as he kicked his hind legs, propelling himself higher with each swing. The other cubs took turns pushing him, their tiny claws carefully retracted. One of them, the smallest, noticed Mira first. His ears flattened, and a low growl rumbled from his chest, barely deeper than a purr but clearly meant as a warning. "Easy," Mira said softly, raising her empty hands. "I'm just looking." The swinging cub, who had to be Ravik, based on the distinctive white markings she'd catalogued, twisted mid-swing to face her. His eyes, golden and slit-pupiled, fixed on her with unsettling intelligence. He chirped something in the complex series of growls and clicks that constituted Korthax speech. Mira's translator struggled for a moment before rendering, "New invention. Mine. Your invention?" Mira couldn't help but smile. "That's actually my scarf." Ravvik's ears perked up. He kicked himself into a higher arc, clearly showing off. "Human thing, now swing thing. Better." One of the other cubs, a female with darker markings, approached Mira with the cautious curiosity of a predator assessing potential prey. She sniffed at Mira's boots, then sat back on her haunches. "Human not angry?" That was an interesting question. Mira crouched down, making herself smaller and less threatening. The Korthax were predators, yes, but they were also children, and children, she'd learned across a dozen species, operated on surprisingly similar principles. "I'm not angry," Mira said, "but I am curious. How did you make this?" Ravik dropped from the scarf sling with practiced ease, landing on all fours. He padded over to Mira, close enough that she could see the faint spotting pattern on his fur that would darken as he matured. Watched human tie things. Learned knots. Found stretchy cloth thing. Made better. "You invented a swing," Mira said, wonder creeping into her voice. "Do your people have swings?" The cubs exchanged glances, their tails twitching in what Mira had learned to recognize as confusion. "What is swing?" the dark-marked female asked. "This," Mira gestured to the scarf. "What you made?" "It's called a swing. Human children use them for fun." Ravvik's tail went rigid, then began swishing in clear excitement. "Human cubs do this? For no hunting reasons?" "Exactly for no hunting reasons." The smallest cub, who had been silent until now, crept forward. "Elder claws. Say humans are weak. Soft. No hunting skills." He looked up at Mira, with those disconcerting golden eyes. "But humans make fun things?" Mira felt something shift in her chest. She'd been so focused on studying the Korthax that she hadn't considered what they might learn from simply watching her. Humans make lots of fun things. We play. We invent games. We create things just because they bring us joy. Ravik climbed back onto the scarf sling, settling into it like a hammock now instead of swinging. Korthak's not supposed to play, supposed to hunt, train, get stronger. His voice carried a note of something Mira hadn't expected to hear from a predator species: sadness. "Who says you can't do both?" Mira asked. The cubs went silent. Even their tails stopped moving, the Korthak's equivalent of held breath. The dark-marked female spoke first. "Elder Claws, the strong pack. They say play is for prey species. Weakness." Mira laughed, not mockingly, but with genuine amusement. "Then your Elder Claws haven't met enough humans. We're the most playful species in the galaxy. And we're also the ones who climbed to the top of our food chain, left our planet, and now travel between stars." She met each cub's gaze in turn. "Play doesn't make you weak. It makes you creative, adaptable, smart." Ravvik's ears swiveled forward. "Human Mira is smart? Smart enough to survive on a planet where everything wanted to eat me," Mira said. "And I learned a lot of that by playing as a cub." The smallest one approached and, with surprising gentleness, touched his nose to Mira's hand, a gesture of trust she'd seen adult Korthaks reserve for packmates. "We keep swing thing?" Mira looked at her grandmother's scarf, now repurposed as an alien species' first recreational device. The wool was stretched beyond redemption, but it had found a purpose more meaningful than keeping her neck warm. "You can keep it," she said. "On one condition. You teach other cubs how to make them. And you tell them a human showed you that being strong and having fun aren't opposites." Ravik swung himself upside down on the scarf, his hind legs hooked over the fabric, arms dangling. From that ridiculous position, he looked at Mira and made a sound her translator rendered as laughter. "Deal," he said. "But human Mira must make more swing things. Bigger. Higher." As Mira walked back to the compound, already planning her report to the Galactic Council about the observed tool use and cultural adaptation in Korthak's juveniles, she could hear the cubs shrieking with joy behind her. The sound echoed through the crimson forest like a declaration, a promise that perhaps the galaxy's most feared predators might learn that strength and playfulness could coexist. After all, humans had proven it. And now, so would they.